Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's class. And today we are going to be talking about what? We are going to be talking about nature of word of business. And this is the word, this is the fourth section of the word, this is the fourth section of the syllabus. You can remember during our last class, I've been able to explain the word, the general overview of what of management. And this particular word, this particular subject is divided into what? Is divided into 6 sections. It's divided into how many sections? It's divided into 6 sections. We have that of the words, we have that of the nature of business, we have the management, we have the word management function, we have the word the HR, we have the motivation, we have the word the office practice. So there are 6 sections that we are going to be talking about what in this particular subject. So this is the word, this is the section A, and the section A deal with what? Nature of what? Nature of business. And in nature of business, we have 2 topics here. In this particular section, now we have how many topics? We have 2 topics. One of the first topic is what? Introduction to business, and we'll also be talking about what business, what environment. The first section is what? Introduction to business. What is meaning of business? We are going to be talking about what is the objective of business? How can we classify business? What is growth? Different forms of what? Business organization. We'll be talking about the sole proprietorship. We'll be talking about that of the partnership. We'll be talking about that of the limited. So different words, different classification of business. We'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about what is the stakeholders? What are stakeholders? Different types of stakeholders. Then we'll also be talking about what business environment. We'll also be talking about what ethics, and we'll also be talking about what corporate governance. So in section A of the syllabus, these are the things that we need to familiarize ourselves with. This is what section A. Section A of the syllabus deal with what? Nature of business. You can remember, make it a general overview of this particular subject during the last class. So what is business? A business can be what? A business can be defined as what? As a lawful, sorry, business can be defined as a social and a lawful what? Human activities. The business can be defined as a what? As a social and what? And lawful what? Human what? Activities. The primary aim of which is to what? Is to make profits. The primary aim of which to work is to make profits. Business can be defined as a what? As a social and lawful what? Human activities. Which the primary aim is to what? Is to make profits. That is what we call what? That is what we call business. Business can be defined as a social and lawful what? Activities. And you can see the word this definition now that what? It includes lawful. For you to say something is a business, it has to be something that is what? That is legally what? That is legally acceptable in that particular society. And what is the aim? The aim is to what? Is to make profit. We can rightfully say that the word a business is what? Organized efforts or activities of what person utilizing what resources within an organization context to produce and distribute what goods and services for the purpose of what? For the purpose of making profits. Every one of you that is listening to me now, you all have one of what? One of 2 things that you can do. You all have one of what business idea that you can do. So anyone, if you are not thinking of what business now, you have to be thinking at it from the legal part as well, that business is something, there's no how you define a business. You have to include something called what? Lawful. And the aim of it is to what? The aim is to what? Is to make profit. The objective at the end, that is the objective at what? At the end, in which the business desire to attain. The objective at what? They are the end product results. Objectives are important because they indicate the purpose and the aim of the business, and thus justify what? Every existence of the organization. Because one of the things that you have to try as much as possible, once you are planning to establish a business, we say that the primary motive is to make profits. Then you have to think of it in terms of what? You have to think in terms of what will be the objective. Why? Because just like what we make mention of in our previous class, we say that what? Business must have what? Business must have a business must have a mission statement. Now, once you are thinking of establishing any organization, you have to think of what mission statement. And when we say mission statement is the reason for existence of that organization. Is the reason why you're in business. What do you want to do? So once you're able to establish your mission statement, then you can now have vision. You can now have goals and objectives. You can now have strategy. And every strategy that you have, we are still going to be talking about strategy in this particular subject as well. Strategy, the main purpose of you having a strategy is for you to be able to accomplish your mission statement, for you to be able to accomplish your vision, for you to be able to accomplish your goals and objectives. And every strategy that you are going to develop must it be in line with your word, must it be in line with your mission statement. Every strategy must be in line with your word, with your mission statement. So what is the objective? The objective at the end, they are the desired results. Objective awards are important because they indicate the purpose. They provide direction for the operation of the world of the business. Objective provide direction. So once we know where we are going, it is to be somewhat easy to get there. And if you have a strategy will give answer to that, how do we want to get there? So objective will give what? Objective will give direction. Will give direction that, this is where we are going. Objective also set standard for control of the business activity. It helps to coordinate with decision by managers, because every manager will be aware that this is the objective of the business. So all the different units, all the different departments within that organization will work together to achieve that particular objective. Whether you're in the marketing, whether you're in the sales, whether you're in the production, whether you're in the research and development. Once there's the objective, all departments now, we are going to be working towards meeting that particular objective. Performance can be measured against what objective? That is, once we set objective, we can measure performance. We can measure what? We can measure performance. That, if we say that your objective is to achieve a profit of what? Of 10,000. Then at the end of the day as well, we can measure your performance, whether you're able to achieve that 10,000 profit. So once there's objective is serving as a what now? As actual performance. It's serving as a what? As a budget. Objective is serving as a what? As a budget. Then at the end of the day, once we have our actual result, then we can measure our actual result against the objective, whether we are whether we are achieving it or not. The primary objective of every business is to make profits. We all know that. The primary objective of every business is to make profits. The main objective of business enterprises is to make profit. That is the primary objective. Please don't forget, what do we refer to as a business? A business can be defined as a social and lawful human activity. A social and a lawful human activity, which you can see, we have made mention of it, that the primary aim is to what? The primary aim is to make profits. The primary aim is to what? Is to make profits. What is now the secondary? What is now the secondary? Productivity. Innovation will be there. Growth, shareholder satisfaction, employee satisfaction, positive public image. That is, apart from achieving this profit objective, there are some other objectives that we need to achieve. There are some other things that we need to do. It's not only about profit. Profit is not enough. Please don't forget that. Profit is not what? Profit is not enough. There are still some other things that a business organization needs to do. There are some things that business organization have to do. So profit is not what? Profit is not enough. So what are some of the other things that you can do? Productivities, innovation in terms of your product. Or maybe the way you are producing this product now for the 5 years now, the product has been the same. The logo is the same. The color is what is the same. Why can't you think of another way? Even though you are not changing the ingredient of the product, but you can change the future. You can change the design. So organization need to be what? You need to be innovative. Your growth as well is also very, very important things. Every organization should make sure that this particular objective is being, you have to have the mindset of growth. Every individual needs to have the mindset of growth. A business or organization as well need to have a mindset of growth. That is, in the next 5 years, where do you want to see yourself? In the next 10 years, where do you want to see yourself? You have to what? Your shareholder. When we say shareholder, every one of us will know this. A shareholder are the provider of fund. They are the one that is providing what? They are the one that is providing what? They are the one that is providing the fund. So we'll give it to the world, we'll give it to the management. So in the management that will be what? They'll be making sure that this fund that the shareholder is providing, you are making the best use of it. And don't worry, very soon we're also going to be talking about corporate governance in this particular section of the syllabus as well. So you need to certify your shareholder. Every business organization must have that mindset. Shareholder satisfaction. You need to certify your shareholder. Employee satisfaction. You need to certify your employee, people that are working with you. They must not complain. You have to do the best that you can do as a business organization. Certify your employee as well. Positive public image. Positive public image. That's why we'll also be talking about corporate social responsibility as well. There are some things that companies also need to do. If they are making that profit, give back to the society. That is the idea of CSR, corporate social responsibility. So if you are engaging in this if you are engaging in this CSR, if you are engaging in if you are engaging in this CSR, you're able to have if you are engaging in this CSR, you're able to have a positive public image. If you discover that in this particular community, there's no there's no water, there's no electricity, you can donate some things to them. You can donate some things to them. So please don't forget, these are the objective of business. The primary is to make profit. The secondary are to ensure productivity. Your product must always be your product must always be available. There must not be stock out. Your product must always be available. You must be innovative. You have to be thinking of growth. You have to certify your shareholder. You have to certify your employee. You have to make sure that you have a positive public image. If someone make mention of your company now in your dad limited, in the public, they should be able to say that, it is a good company. They should not say that, your dad limited is a bad company. So every business as well, you have to try as much as possible to certify this secondary objective, not just the primary. We'll also be talking about classification of business. We can classify business into we can classify business into 3. Business can be grouped based on the following: size of your unit, the ownership type, the uses of your outputs, and the input that you use. Don't forget, These are the what? The 4 classifications that we have in our syllabus related to what? To business. Business can be grouped into how many? Business can be grouped into 4. Business can be grouped into how many? Business can be grouped into 4. Business can be grouped into how many? Business can be grouped into 4. 1, we can group business based on their size. We can group business based on the ownership. We can group business based on their work, their outputs. And we can also group business based on the inputs that they use. Don't forget, these are the grouping of business. We can group business based on what? The unit of their output, sorry, the size of the size space, the ownership, the output, the input. We can group business into how many? 4. Input, outputs, ownership, and size. So starting from the first one, size. Based on the size of the capital investment, their total asset. And what is total asset? I'm sorry for asking that. You have done what? Financial accounting in your HS2. When we say total asset is what? Total asset is the addition of what? Non-current asset plus what? Plus current assets. The addition of what? Current and non-current asset is what we call what? Total asset. Your sales turnover, or the numbers of people employed. The business can be categorized. Business can be classified into micro, small, medium, or sometimes large. The Federal Ministry of what? Industry classified business into what? Into 4 categories based on their size. The Federal Ministry of what? Of Industry classify what? Categorize business into 4 using the word, the size-based what? Classification. What? The size-based classification. So when we say a micro what? Enterprise, a micro enterprise is a what? Is a business with the value of total assets, excluding now, not more than what? 400,000. That is micro. Don't forget to. It's very straightforward. The Ministry of what? The Federal Ministry of Industry has classified enterprise into how many? Into 4 categories. By what? By size. You say micro, small, medium, and large. A micro is an enterprise. It's a business organization in which the value of the value of total fixed assets. In accounting, these are business, so they are still calling it what? Fixed asset. In accounting now, we call it what? Non-current asset. We call it what? Non-current asset. A micro enterprise is a business with a value of what? Of total what? The value of what? Total fixed asset. The land. So meaning that land is not included. Not exceeding what? 400,000. The small one, the value of the value of fixed assets is between 400,000 and 5 million. That is a small. The small, the value of their fixed asset, the value of their fixed asset is between what? Is between 400,000 and 5 million. Why medium? Medium is what? Between 5 million and 10 million. Between 5 million and what? And 10 million. Why large is what? It exceeds what? 10 million. It exceeds what? 10 million. So you can see that we make mention that they say size-based classification. Based on the size of their capital investment, their total asset, their what? Sales turnover, or the numbers of people employed. So in terms of what? In terms of their total fixed assets, in terms of what? The asset base now, if you are looking at it from the angles of what? Asset base, its micro one is not more than 400. One is what? 400,000 and what? And 5 million. The medium one is what? 5 million and 10, but it must not be greater than what? 10. While the large one is what? Is above what? Is above 10 million. So that is when we are using the value of their what? The value of their assets. But if you're not using the value of what? If you're not using the value of what, how many people do you employ? If you're not using the word, the value of what, how many words, how many people do you what? How many people do you employ? How many people do you what? How many people do you employ? How many people do you what? Do you employ? Micro one is what? 1 to 10 employee. The small is between 11 to 100. The medium is between 101 to 300. And the large one is what? Is 301 and above. So please don't forget, you have what? Short answer. You have what? Multi-choice question in your what? In your exam. Don't forget this, please. When we say micro, in terms of what? Assets, is 400,000. If you say small, is what? 400,000 and what? And 5 million. If you say medium, is what? 5 million and what? And 10. If you say large, is above 10. So what about what? If you're not using what? If you're not using the numbers of what? The numbers of employee. The numbers of employee. For what? For micro, is between what? 1 to 10. For small one, is 11 to what? To 100. Medium is between what? 101 to 300. And the large one is above what? 301. So that is one. Use classification. Use what? Classification. The use classification is about what? The use-based classification emphasizes on the nature of their outputs. And what did they use? What is the nature of their outputs? What is the nature of their what? Of their outputs? What is the nature of their what? Of their outputs? And we have 4 here. Under what? Use-based classification. That is, what did they use? What did they want? What did they use to produce their what? Their outputs? What did they use to produce their what? To produce their outputs? Use-based classification emphasizes the nature of output and its uses. The nature of what? Output and its uses. Your output, please. Please don't forget this. They say use-based classification emphasizes the nature of output, the nature, which type of output are you producing? And what is the uses? Business can be grouped into basic industry, capital goods industry, intermediary, and what? Consumer goods industry. Basic industry are those what? Are those which provide the what? The basic output. The basic what? The basic input, sorry. Basic industry are those which provide the what? The basic input or raw material for the development of what? Of other industry. For example, fertilizer is the basic input for what? For agriculture. Coal, oil, and gas are also regarded as the basic to the development of what? Of other what? Of other industry. So if you say, oh, you are a basic what? Now industry, it means that what? You are producing certain what? You are producing certain goods. That is your own output now. It will serve as what? Input of another organization. Your own output will serve as what? As input in what? In another organization. A company that is producing what? Fertilizer now. A company that is producing fertilizer now, your own output, which is that fertilizer that you produce now, will serve as a word as input to another industry. Someone that is what? That is producing oil and gas now, your own output now serve as a word as input to another word, to another industry. So that is what? Basic industry. Basic industry are those which provide the basic input or raw material for development of what? Of another industry. For development of what? Of another industry. Meaning that what? For other particular industry to grow, they need your what? They need your input. We also have the second one to be capital goods industry. Our industry that produce what? Plant and machinery, equipment, and tools, which are required for the manufacturing of what? Of other goods and services. Capital goods industry require what? High capital what? Investment. When we say capital what? Capital So capital goods industry are those industries that produce plants, machinery, and equipment and tools which are required for the manufacturing of other goods and services. We also have another one, which is the third one called what intermediate goods industry are industry that produce goods such as material, parts, and components used in production of what of other goods. This type of industry enhances the value of what of goods by changing their physical form. When we say intermediary are those industries that produce goods such as material, part, and component used in production of what of other goods. That is, when you're producing what other goods now. Let's say, for example, now you are producing what fertilizer. If you produce fertilizer, you know there are some material that you are producing what fertilizer that you also need. Let's say, for example, now the packaging or what you are using to cover this particular equipment now or this particular product, you have to get it from what? You have to get it from other industry. So those industry that produce goods such as material, it may not be what? It may not, let's say what? Intermediary goods industry are industry that produce goods such as what? Material, such as what? Parts, such as what? Component, used in production. So meaning that what intermediary what industry are doing, another industry will take it up. Like what now? The output of intermediary goods industry will serve as what? Input when you want to produce what? You want to produce other goods. They say our industry that produce goods such as what? Material. Intermediary goods industry are what? Are industry that produce what? Goods such as material, such as part and component used in production of other goods, This type of what industry enhances the value of goods by changing their physical form. Consumer goods industry are industry, the output of which are used by the final consumer. Just like a conflict now. So a company that is producing conflicts now, they are consumer goods industry. When we say consumer goods industry are goods, are industry in which the output are used by final consumer. This particular, their own output is not subject to further processing. Their own output is not subject to Is not subject to further processing. It's not subject to further processing. It's not subject to further processing. Once I purchase it, I'm using it or I'm consuming it. Okay? So this is the second classification. Please don't be carried away. We are classifying what business. And we say that business can be grouped into how many? Into 4. In terms of their units, in terms of their ownership, in terms of their outputs, in terms of the inputs that they are using. If it is size, we use 2. We use the value of their asset and we use the value of their what? We use the value of the numbers of employee. In micro, it is what? It's not exceeding 400. In small, it is 405 million. In medium, is 400, not more than 10 million. In the large one is it exceeds 10 million. We are using the employee base. In small is between 1 to 10. In micro, it is between 1 to 10. In small, it is 11 to 100. In medium, it is 101 to 300. And in the last scale enterprises, is above 301. Then we also talk about use-based classification, basic industry, capital goods industry, intermediate goods industry, and consumer goods industry. We also need to talk about we also need to talk about input-based classification as well. Input-based classification. On the basis of the source of major input and nature of their input, industry can be classified in we have agro, we have forest-based, we have marine, we have melter, we also have chemical industry. An agro industry is one which uses agricultural produce like cocoa, the palm produce, jutes, cotton, etc. as their major what? As their major input. So please don't forget, let me highlight this so that you'll be able to what? When we say what? Input based, we are looking at it from the angles of what? We are looking at it from the angles of your, that is input in terms of what? How do you get your what? How do you get your input? How do you get your what? Your input. So, for example, now we now say there are how many? Please don't forget this. Okay? We say there are what now? We have agro, we have what? Forest-based, we have marine, we have what? Melter, we also have what? Chemical-based what? Chemical-based industry. That is input. That is based on what? That is based on input. An agro industry is one which uses what? From the word agro. It means what? It uses agricultural produce as their major input. A forest-based what? Industry are those which use forest produce as their what? As their major input. An example is what? Is paper industry. A paper industry use what? Use forest. It use forest input. It use forest what? Produce as their what? As their major input. Many industries such as what? Producer of fertilizer, drug, etc. are regarded as what? Chemical-based what? Industry. As chemical are their major what? Are their major input. You know, what we are looking at is now, we are looking at it from input based. From your input, before you have your output, how do you get your raw material? How do you get your raw material? Agro is what? Agro. Forest is what? Forest produce. Chemical-based industry use what? Use chemical as their what? As their major inputs. Okay? That is what? Input-based what? That is input-based classification. So we now need to talk about what? These are the four classification of what? Of business. We have talked about size of their units. We have talked about what? Very soon we'll talk about the ownership, uses of their outputs. We also talk about their what? Their input as well. Input, agro-based, forest, marine. Marine, from the word marine, one is what? Is water. So we also have metal. We also have what? Chemical-based what? Industry. So type of manufacturing industry, we have what? Analytical industry. Type of manufacturing industry. Types of what? Manufacturing industry are divided into what? Are divided into four. Are divided into what? Are divided into four. We have analytical. Those are industry concerned with separating a what? A single material into several elements. I hope everybody get this. When we say analytical industry, are those industry concerned with separating a single material input into several what? Elements. Please, in management, always try as much as possible to get the key concept. That in this topic, what are we talking about? In this topic, what are we talking about? When we say analytical industry, are those industry concerned with what? Separating a single material input into what? Several what? Elements. Just like in what? In oil industry, in refinery, you can have a single what? You can have a crude oil as a single input, which will be used. So a crude oil now will not be what? Will not be transferred. It will be separated into different products. You can have petrol, you have diesel, You have what? Kerosene and the rest, like just from a what? A single word, a single input. This single input now will not be what? Will not be transferred, will not be separated into different what? Into different products. And don't worry, at your HS3 as well, you'll be talking about in your cost accounting, you'll be talking about process costing. You'll be talking about what process costing. And when you get to process costing, you'll also be talking about what joint and buy products. You'll be talking about what joint and buy products. So you're also going to learn more about that. Synthetic what industry? This is concerned with combining what several raw material and processing them into a single unit. That is what synthetic. Synthetic is what is concerned with what synthetic is concerned with what getting many inputs, several inputs, and combining them into a single unit. Synthetic industry, this is concerned with combining a several raw material and processing them into a single unit. You know, that's like the opposite of what analytical industry. You know, the analytical, they will get single input. They will not transfer it to what to different what outputs. But synthetic now will have different input. We will now combine it together to have just what a single output. Okay. We also have process industry. A process industry, it is concerned with processing of material to different stages of what of production, so as to make the final product. And I'm still making reference to your to a topic that you're going to do in your cost accounting called process costing. In process costing come with with stages. Process costing come with with stages. You are going to have process one. The output of process one now will serve as input of process two. The output of process one will serve as input of process two. The output of process two will serve as output of the output of process one will serve as input of process two. The output of process one will serve as input of process two. The output of process two will serve as input of process three. The output of process three will serve as input of process one or of process four. So that is process. If we take it, this particular unit will finish, you take it to another one, you take it to another department, you take it to another department before it comes to a finished product. That is process industry. We have assembly. This involves joining various components and parts to produce a single product. This involves joining various components from the word assembly. That is, you have different inputs, you join them together to produce a single product. We also talk about profit and not-for-profit making organization, which I'm going to give as a first assignment. I want you to able to what is the meaning of profit making organization? Differentiate what is the difference between a profit making organization and not-for-profit making organization? Is a task. It's an assignment I'm giving to everyone now. That what is the difference between a profit-making organization and a not-for-profit making organization? You should be able to public sector and private sector. What is the difference between the two? What is the difference between public sector and private sector? What is the difference between profit and not-for-profit making organization? So don't forget, we talk about classification. In terms of we have the size-based classification. Under the size-based classification, we talk about micro. We talk about micro in terms of we talk about micro, we talk about small, we talk about medium, and we also talk about large. In terms of value of assets, micro is 400. Small is 400 and 5 million. Medium is 5 million and 10 million. Large one is above 10 million. In terms of numbers of employees that they employ, micro is what 1 to 10, small is between 11 to 100, medium is between 1 to 300, and the large one is what is 301 and above. Then we also move on to talk about what the use base. We talk about the basic industry, the capital goods, the intermediary, the consumer. We talk about input-based classification, the agro, forest, the marine, metal. We also have the chemical bay. We also talk about what types of manufacturing industry. Please don't forget them. Analytical. Analytical gets different inputs and combine it. That is, a single material will be separated into different outputs, just like a crude oil now. It's from a crude oil that we have with diesel, we have petrol, and the rest like that. But synthetic industry are concerned with combining several raw material and processing them into a single output. Processing. It is concerned with processing of material through different stages of production so as to make the final product. And you're also going to be learning about process costing in your cost accounting. Assembly. This involves joining various components and parts to produce a single product. And I also give a tax now. What is the difference between profit and not for profit? What's the difference between public sector and private sector? So every business as well, once you establish your business, you also need to be thinking of growth. You also need to be thinking of growth. You also need to be thinking of growth. You also need to be thinking of what? You also need to be thinking of what? You also need to be thinking of growth. You also need to be thinking of what? You also need to be thinking of growth. How can you grow your business? So once you establish any business, you have to be thinking of growth. Growth is very, very important thing. And for you to grow, it's involve careful business analysis, internal business analysis. For you to grow, you have to analyze your business environment. And that will be our next topic that we're also going to be talking about, business environment. For you to grow, you have to carefully analyze your business environment. And organization business environment is divided into two. We have what we call internal business environment, and we also have what we call external business environment. So as you're thinking of growth, you have to carefully analyze the business environment. The business environment can, if organizations succeed, if organizations achieve a growth, your business environment has impact. If organization does not grow as well, your business environment also have impact. So you can see business environment is a very important thing. It's a very, very important thing. So if organization grow, your business environment is part of it. If organization does not grow as well, your business environment also forms part of it. So what are the types of growth? We have two types of growth. We have what we call internal growth, and we also have what we call external growth. Internal growth can also be called organic, while external can be called inorganic. Just like maybe some of us are science students. Like chemistry is divided into two. We have what we call organic chemistry, and we also have what we call inorganic chemistry. So just like growth as well, just like growth, we have two types of growth. We have internal growth, and we also have what we call external growth. The internal growth can be called organic, and while the external can be called inorganic. So when we say internal, from the word internal, meaning that the growth that you achieve now is as a result of your own efforts. It's as a result of your own effort. Nobody help you. But external growth, from the word external, the growth is achieved as a result of combination of different resources. It can be as a result of mergers and acquisition. It can be as a result of takeover. You acquire another entity. That is why you're able to achieve that growth. But if you achieve that growth, there's no any element of mergers and acquisition. You didn't acquire any company. You didn't merge with any company. That is what we call internal growth. This is a growth that occurs when a firm expand through selling more of its existing product or services, or a new product or services. Following the increase in sales, the firm may employ additional staff, increase its total asset base or capital base. But external growth, this occurs when a firm acquire what? When a firm acquire, take over, or merge with what? With another firm, thus increasing all or some of his what? The size of indicators. Don't forget how many types of growth? 2 types of growth. Internal growth and external growth. External growth occur as a result of what? A firm acquire, take over, or you merge with another what? You merge with another firm. But internal growth is being achieved as a result of your own effort. There is no any mergers and acquisition. There's no any takeover. Why do we need growth? That's another question that we need to ask ourselves. Why do we need what? Why do we need growth? Why do we need growth? Why do we what? Why do we need growth? Why do we need growth? To achieve economic skills, for personal ambition, market power, reduction in risks or failure, to avoid takeover, to attract what? Resources. Because we need to grow. So what are the what? What are the need for growth? Why? Because there has to be a reason for it. The need for growth. Why do we need growth? We need growth for some of the words, some of the following words, some of the following reasons. We need growth for some of these reasons. Economic of skills. Economic of skills can be in terms of what? The managerial. It can be in terms of the what? The technical. It can be in terms of what? The purchasing. It can be in terms of the what? The financial. We also have what we call what? For personal ambition as well. Everybody needs growth. To market power, to compete more effectively in the market. If you want to compete more effectively in the market, then you have to what? Be thinking of growth. Because people that you are trying to compete with, they are also thinking about it. So without growth, you can't compete what? Effective market. You can't be the market leader. And in management, we usually say that what? We have 4 types of what? Of companies. In management, we have 4 types of what? 4 types of company in strategic. In strategic management, we usually say that we have 4 types of company. We have what we call what? We have what we call market leader. We also have what we call a leader. We have what we call a follower. We have what we call a what? A challenger. And we have what we call a what? A nicher. That is, business company can be categorized into 4 in management, in strategic management. We have the what? The leader. We have the challenger. We have the follower, and we have the what? The nicher. So for you to compete for you to be able to compete effectively in the market, you have to have growth. You need to grow. How can we manage growth? So if you are growing at all, you also need to find a way of what? Of managing it. If you are not able to manage the growth, then the growth can turn to something else. So managing growth is also another very important thing that organizations need to pay a careful attention to. How can we manage growth? To control a business as it grows, a firm may need to engage in more elaborate planning. For you to manage your growth, they're actually in the exam, how can we manage growth? Careful planning is also a way of managing growth. Setting budget is also a way of managing your growth. So that when you say a budget, it to serve as a word, as a guidelines for you. Planning, it to serve as a word, as a guidelines for you. That this is what we want to do.
And this is how we want to do it. A budget to tell you, okay, maybe budget is usually a word in monetary terms of the time, that this is a particular amount for this particular line item. This is the amount that we have set for this particular line item. So for you to manage your growth, because if you are growing, it's a good thing. But as you are growing, you also need to be thinking of how can you manage it? Just like the more you are reading now, and your intelligence keep on increasing, you have to be looking for a way of you managing it as well. You have to be thinking of the way you manage it as well. Because as you are getting more knowledge, you also need to try as much as possible to keep it. Keep it in terms of you have to manage it. You have to manage it in terms of you have to keep it. You have to keep it in terms of those activities that you are doing now, you have to keep on doing it. You have to keep on you have to keep on doing it. If you are reading now, that is the reason why you have A. If you are going for the next semester as well, you also need to read so that you're able to maintain it. If you did not read, then there's a problem. So for you to manage your growth, there has to be a proper planning. You have to set a budget. There has to be a formal organization structure. We are also going to talk about organization structure. So there has to be a performance appraiser. There has to be a performance appraiser. It should be now? It should be 5. A performance appraiser. You have to performance appraiser in terms of you're able to check what people are doing. Then you appraise them. Produce a job description. Decentralize operation and delegate authority. Install more sophisticated control system. This is how you need to manage growth. There's no how you want to manage your growth without planning. There's no how you want to manage your growth, whether as an individual or as a word or as organization. Planning is there. Budgeting is there. Develop a formal organization structure is there. Use performance appraiser. You have to all your employees, you have to set a KPI for them. Key performance indicator. That's what we call KPI. KPI means Key performance indicator. These are things that you have to do. Produce a job description. A job description that will tell them that, these are what we expect you to do. And you have to do it. Decentralized operation. Delegate authority. It shouldn't be that if this particular man is not around, no activities. No. There has to be activities. Activities has to continue. So delegate authority as well. Decentralize the operation, not centralize. We are still going to be talking about centralization and decentralization. Centralization is when authority and decision making are being centralized. Maybe at the top management, maybe at the head office. But decentralized in terms of the branch manager can also make a certain decision. The branch manager can also make a certain decision without necessarily all the time you have to contact the head office. Install more sophisticated control system that will serve as a guideline that the resumption time is 8 o'clock. There has to be a control system. There has to be a control system. A control system, not just writing attendance. No. It go beyond that. In terms of, it's not just writing attendance, because someone can come to work now 9 o'clock and you can write 8 o'clock if there's no someone that is managing. Even though if human being is involved there may be a collusion. But you can have some electronic work system that you just need to thumbprint. You are not writing time. Your name is already there on the system. You just need to what? You just need to thumbprint. So it's already what that the system will already capture. Oh, it's already capturing your biometric is already there. So if I'm going to work now, anytime that I work, before I work, I have to clock in. It's just for me to work to thumbprint. The time that you arrive is already there. When you are going as well, the time, if I'll clock out, the time that you leave the office is already there as well. There's no need of me writing one attendance. So install more sophisticated work control system. This is how you need to manage growth. Growth is very, very important. But if you did not manage it, it can serve as a problem. Problem of growth. Problem of what? Problem of growth. So what are the problem of growth? Things that can cause the organization will not able to achieve the desired growth. Cash flow problem, diseconomic of what, economic of skills can cause what? Can cause that. Cash flow problem. For you to achieve your desired growth, element of what? Of monetary is what is there. Is there. Diseconomic of skills. Lack of control, lack of proper communication, poor coordination. If some of these are not well being managed, if your cash flow is not well being managed, there will be problem. Problem of what? Delegation of what? Of authority. Problem of delegation. Having to learn how to assign authority and responsibility to another people rather than doing it yourself. If you are delegating what? Authority, the responsibility still lies with you. It is you that will still be subject to accountability, not the individual that you're delegating it to. So when we are delegating authority, we have to make sure that that particular individual that we are delegating to will be able to act in the best interest. Risks of loss of direction and control. Risks of what? Of loss of what? Direction and what? And control. Cash flow. Risks of what? Losses of direction. There's no proper direction. There's no what? Proper control. There will be what? There will be problem. There will be what? There will be problem. So these are what? These are problem of what? Control. I'll be sorry, these are problem of growth. Growth needs to be properly what? Managed. And if you want to manage your growth, what are the some of the things that you can do for you to manage your growth? Planning is there, setting budget is there, formal organization structure is there, a good performance appraisal system is there. That's where we'll be talking about the human resources, what management that we'll be talking about in our syllabus. Internal communication, we'll also be talking about what? Communication. A good communication. And the communication has to be a two-way. If I send to you, I should be able to receive a feedback. A good job description should be available. Decentralized operation, and you should be able to delegate authority. Install more sophisticated words control system. What are the problems? What are the things? What are some of the factors that will not make organization to achieve growth? A cash flow problem can cause it because there's no how. Every growth requires what? Every growth requires a monetary worth. It requires monetary backing. Lack of control, lack of good communication, lack of coordination of activities among different departments, problem of delegation, risks of losses of direction, and another very important thing. Why do business fail? Why do business fail? Why? And I want every one of us to think of it for a second. There are some business organizations that you know some time ago that they are no longer in business. Why? Why did business fail? Why did business fail? Why did business fail? It's a question that we need to ask ourselves. Why did business fail? Can you give a question to that? You see, in management, your driving force is understand the terms. Understand the terms. If they ask you in the exam now, why did business fail? Is a question that if you're able to think very well within that 3 hours, you should be able to give answer to it. And I want every one of us to please pause for a second now. And let's ask ourselves, why did business fail? Why? Why did business fail? You know, there's a reason for it. And that is the reason that we want to talk about. Why did business fail? Why? Because there has to be a reason. You went to a shop today and tomorrow you went there again, they are closed. They are no more in business. What happened? Why did business fail? These are some of the reasons why business failed. These are some of the reasons why business failed. Bad ideas to begin with. When you are setting up your work, when you are setting up your business, if the idea is bad, you know, we say a business model is a social and a lawful or human activities. If the lawful is not there, later in the long run, the government will catch you and they will say that the business should be folded. So if there's no a good idea from the onset, it can also cause one business to fail. Poor planning, lack of capital, the money is not there. How do you now want to get your input? You need to pay your supplier. How? Not knowing the market. You don't know the market, because that's very, very important thing. Before, you know, in business, there are very two important things that every business organization, you have to get it right. One of them is your market. One of them is what is your environment. Even your environment, market is a subset of your of your business environment. So your environment, the market, they are very, very important. You have to know the market that you are going to serve. You have to know the customer that you are going to serve. It is not all market that you need to be there. It is not all market that you need to be that you need to be there. It is not all product that you need to produce. So you have to know your market. If you don't know your market, you fail. Cash flow crisis. Cash flow crisis was management. Doing it all, everything. You are the one that wants to do it. You are the one that wants to do it. You are the one that wants to do it. You need to delegate. You need to work. You need to delegate. Inadequate control. If a business does not have a good control, it will fail. Inadequate protection of your word, of your assets. Inadequate what? Protection of your assets. Inadequate protection of your asset and what? And resources. You fail to change. Something is happening in your business environment and you keep quiet. And if you are growing too fast as well, is a problem. The illusion of starting out as a big company.